Welcome to Random Movie Reviews. I'm Nathan, and today I'll be going over my Shout/Scream Factory collection. When it comes to specific brand of Blu-ray DVDs, I own more Criterion than any other Blu-ray by far. But coming in second would be Scream/Shout Factory. I initially found this company because of my love of cheesy, ridiculous horror movies, and for the longest time I thought they were just Scream Factory, but the company is called Shout Factory, and Scream Factory is kind of the subdivision of the company that specializes in horror/sci-fi films. While Shout Factory will deal with action, comedy, and some dramatic films as well. So like I said, I definitely don't have as much Scream Factory stuff as I do Criterion, but I definitely have enough to show off. I have a pretty decent collection, and I also bought a couple recently and some that came into the mail today, so I figured why not show off my collection. I'm sure people might enjoy it. So I'll start off with my Shout Factory films going into Scream Factory. Basically, I have more Scream Factory than I do Shout, so I just figure we'll get the Shout ones out of the way first. In no particular order, here we go. So there's a reason why I didn't buy the Criterion Bruce Lee box set. That's because I own several of them on Blu-ray already, and 3 of which are Shout Factory films, so here we go. First one is The Way of the Dragon, second one is The Big Boss, and the last one is Fists of Fury. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, I'm a big Kung Fu movie fan in general, and Bruce Lee is just essential viewing. However, I might trade these, or I might sell these off because the Criterion box set comes with End of the Dragon, and I own a copy of End of the Dragon, but it's not a particularly special Blu-ray, so I figured I should probably get the Criterion. But these are the 3 Shout Factory films that I have with Bruce Lee, and they're all great. Next one is Midnight Run. I mentioned this in my 10 underrated films video, so not much for me to say, except that this movie's great. Next one is an unopened copy of Wild at Heart. I have seen this film. It's a David Lynch movie. Super weird and super David Lynch. I enjoy it very much. Next one is Adaptation. So I saw this on the Criterion channel and went to see if there was a Blu-ray available, and at the time there wasn't. There was only an out-of-print Blu-ray that people were asking a ridiculous amount of money for. And then I saw that Shout was going to do a release of this. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the special features are original featurette, still gallery, and theatrical trailer. This doesn't even come with a freaking commentary. So this is pretty disappointing, but I'm glad to have this movie on Blu-ray at all because I think it's a really great movie, very underrated. Maybe Criterion can release a Blu-ray of this and actually get some special features. Who knows? But for now, this is what I got. Next is the Street Fighter collection with Sonny Chiba. These are awesome films, although I've only seen the first 2. I haven't seen the last one. And I haven't seen the spin-off series, Sister Street Fighter. But yeah, the first one in particular is super awesome, grindhouse kung fu. I'm a big Sonny Chiba fan. He's great. Next is one of my biggest guilty pleasure movies of all time, and that is Roadhouse, Pain Don't Hurt. This one I got pretty recently, and that's the Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Collection. This just comes with the first 2 movies. The first one in Bogus Journey, the third one is not part of this. I haven't even seen the third one yet, so I'll have to watch that eventually. But yeah, I love these movies. Next one is one of my favorite films of all time, and that is Fargo. This is a steelbook version, really beautiful artwork. I haven't really checked the special features out on this one yet, so I don't know how much there is to offer, but I didn't own this movie before and saw that Shout Factory was doing a limited edition of the steelbook, so I'm like, absolutely. Next one is RoboCop 2. So the first RoboCop I have is a steelbook Arrow Video Blu-ray, which I don't have that many of. And so I actually like RoboCop 2. It's nowhere near as good as the first one, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of people say. A lot of the satirical elements come over into this one, and the violence is also fantastic. This is actually a pretty decent sequel. Next one is Slither. So before James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, he did a gross body horror movie. And it's a lot of fun. It's gross. Next one is one of the greatest werewolf movies ever made, and that is Dog Soldiers from the director of The Descent. This movie is crazy awesome. Basically, Night of the Living Dead with werewolves. It's great. Okay, next one is one I have not seen yet, and that is The Tenant. As I mentioned before, I'm a fan of Roman Polanski's films, and so I did not own this one, and I haven't seen it, so I'll have to check this one out. Next one is another one I have not seen yet, and that is Tales of the Crypt, The Demon Knight. So I've not seen Tales from the Crypt, the show, at all, but I have the box set. Ta-da! So basically I'm saving the show for Halloween this year, and then I'll watch the movie afterwards. A lot of people seem to like it, so I figured, hey, why not get it? Next one is Michael Mann's Manhunter. So this was the first Hannibal Lecter film. It predates Silence of the Lambs, and it's okay. It's not amazing. It's definitely nowhere near as good as Silence of the Lambs, and it's not Michael Mann's best movie, but it's still watchable. I'd have to watch it again. It's actually been a while, but yeah. Next one is From Beyond. Now, I'm a massive fan of Reanimator. The Blu-ray I have is also Arrow Video. So once I discovered this movie, it's kind of like a spiritual successor. It's the same director, some of the same actors. I'm like, I have to check this one out, and it is nuts, but extremely entertaining. Next one is The Exorcist 3. Now, I still to this day have not seen the second Exorcist film. I don't need to. When I heard that the original writer of the book The Exorcist wrote and directed this, I'm like, let me check this one out, and this movie is super underrated. I might mention this in another underrated films review, but yeah, this movie is kind of great. It's not as good as the first Exorcist, and it's very different in terms of its tone, but I really, really like this movie. Next one is one of my all-time favorites, and that is Misery. Fun fact, Misery was the first book I read for fun, and it was also the first book I read before I saw the movie. And now that I've read the book and seen the movie's actually better. Next one, Creepshow. This is mandatory viewing every Halloween. This movie's great, I love it. Another classic, Day of the Dead. So I got Night of the Living Dead from the Criterion Collection, I got Day of the Dead from Scream Factory, and I luckily have the out-of-print Dawn of the Dead on Blu-ray. But I heard they did a 4K box set of Dawn of the Dead, but they're asking for way too much money for that. So I'll wait for the price to go down. Hopefully Scream Factory can do a re-release of Dawn of the Dead for a decent amount of money. The original, that is. Another one of my favorites to watch during Halloween, that is Night of the Creeps. This one actually comes with a slipcover. Yeah, this movie is super awesome. Here we go. One of my favorites, Army of Darkness. Now I had the other Blu-ray. I had the Screwhead version or whatever, the most widely available one. But I decided to get rid of that so I could get this 3-disc special edition Army of Darkness, mainly because it comes with a bunch of special features. It comes with the director's cut of the movie. Yeah, it is super awesome, and I love pretty much everything Sam Raimi does. Next is another great movie that's actually about to be remade, and that is Candyman. We'll see if the remake's any good, but honestly, even if it's not, we still got the first Candyman movie, and that's all I need. It's great. Another Sam Raimi classic, Darkman. I love how ridiculous this movie is. Take the fucking elephant. So here's the remake, Dawn of the Dead, which is actually Zack Snyder's best film, in my opinion, written by James Gunn. Very, very fun movie. Not as good as the original Dawn of the Dead, but I still very much enjoyed this film. Next one is another one I watch every year on Halloween, that is Return of the Living Dead. My second favorite zombie movie behind Dawn of the Dead. This movie is fucking great. Here we go, we got an Evil Dead knockoff, and that is Night of the Demons. This is not a good movie, but I enjoy it. It is so schlocky, it is so dumb, it is so sleazy, but man is it entertaining and a lot of fun, especially with a group of friends. So I think I've mentioned on here before, I love Brian De Palma, so I had to get Carrie. And as you can see, I'm using the original artwork. Some of these have original artworks. Basically, they're double sleeves. So I don't want to do too much with this, but if you can tell, you probably can't. But Scream Factory does its own artwork, and then it offers the original artwork, and I really love the original artwork for Carrie. But yeah, what can I say about this movie? It's great. Okay, now time for the John Carpenter segment of my Scream Factory releases. We'll start off with The Fog. Also decided to put the original artwork on here. I love it. This movie is great. I love this movie. Here is the Steelbook of Escape from New York, another personal favorite. Yeah, the Steelbooks they did for John Carpenter is really great. I have several of them in here. Next one is my favorite John Carpenter film and runner-up for my favorite horror movie of all time, The Thing. Amazing. And ending the Kurt Russell trilogies, I call it Big Trouble in Little China. The made-for-TV Elvis movie doesn't count, but I love this movie. And of course, They Live. I guess this one's going for a lot of money now, specifically the Steelbook of They Live. I'm not sure how much, but I got this for pretty cheap. I think around 20 bucks, and now it's people are asking a decent amount of money for it. So we'll see how much this will be worth one day, but one of my personal favorite Carpenter films right here. One that I mentioned in my 10 underrated films, and that is Assault on Precinct 13. Awesome movie. Here's Carpenter's weirdest film, and that is Prince of Darkness. Super weird. As you can see, I used the Scream Factory artwork because the original theatrical artwork is not that great. And the one I have not seen yet, and that is In the Mouth of Madness. Okay, and now are the Scream Factory movies that I got today. One I got in a store today, and the others I got via Amazon. Here we go. Tobe Hooper's Life Force. I have not seen this movie yet, but I've seen clips and it looks super weird. It looks like stuff I'd be into, so I'm excited for this one. Another one I have not seen, and that is Night of the Comet. I've heard a ton of people talk about this movie. I'll probably be watching this one later today. This one I've seen and I love and was so excited to hear it's a part of Scream Factory, and that is Cobra. This movie is so bad, it's awesome. I love it like how I love Schwarzenegger's Commando. Yeah, I can't. I seriously really love how awesomely bad this movie is. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's great. The one Carpenter film I have not seen during his run of the 80s, and that is Starman. I am excited for this movie. My favorite rom-com of all time, at least tied with Woody Allen's Annie Hall, and that is When Harry Met Sally. I love this movie. There was a period where Rob Reiner was just on a roll, and this is one of his best movies. His best one's probably either Spinal Tap or Stand By Me, but I love this movie. Next one is a childhood favorite, and that is UHF. Either you love this movie or you hate it, and if you hate it, you're just wrong as a person. Oh, as you can see, the price tag's on there. Only 20 bucks for this limited steelbook edition of My Bloody Valentine. Now, when it comes to slashers, I don't really like a lot of 80s slashers except for the big ones. Like, I love Halloween 1 and 2. Nightmare on Elm Street's great, and one that I'm saving for last here. But yeah, I don't like The Burning. I think The Burning is just a Friday the 13th ripoff. It's boring. And Sleepaway Camp, the only thing it's got going for it is its ending, which, yes, is surprising, but if you take that away, what do you have? Another the Friday the 13th ripoff. That movie's lame, but I really enjoy My Bloody Valentine because it has its own style, it has its own identity, its own feel. It's a slasher movie, yes, but it doesn't feel like a ripoff of Friday the 13th or Halloween. It feels like its own thing, and that is why I enjoy it, and it's a fun movie. Last, but certainly not least, and that is the Friday the 13th box set. When it comes to horror movie franchises, and we're talking 3 or more movies, Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite. I do have the Blu-ray collection of that, but it's not Scream Factory. It's just a standard Blu-ray. So when it comes to Friday the 13th, these movies are, they're terrible, but I enjoy them very much. Definitely in an ironic kind of way. They're dumb, but they're fun. You know what they are. They're fun to watch with a group of friends. And here's the thing, I haven't even seen all of them. I've seen the first 4, haven't seen the 5th one, seen the 6th one. I think I've seen parts of these 2. Seen Jason X, seen Freddy vs. Jason, seen Friday the 13th, the remake. But yeah, I really love Friday the 13th Part 4 and 6. Those are my 2 favorite, but these are just fun. They're dumb and almost fell out there. And yeah, I'm glad to have these, and I'm excited to dig through them a little bit more. But I love good schlockiness, and it doesn't get more schlocky than Friday the 13th. And so I'm glad to have this. I got it for a pretty good deal once the price dropped a little bit. I looked at the Halloween box set, which is, people are asking for 500 bucks on I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I only need the first 2 Halloween movies. I know there's a cult following with Season of the Witch, but nah. So guys, that is my collection. I hope you enjoyed. I might be doing some updates with these. If I buy more Scream Factory or Shout Factory Blu-rays, I'll show them off. And I see some possible reviews that I would like to do with some of these movies for random movie reviews. And as always, thanks for watching.